تحكي فيها ما بدك فضيحة استمعت موسيقى سجل مظبوط بعدين روح عليها كمل كلماتك واوعى تلغيها.
What's up, everybody? I'm RAWSWEE. That's like raw sweet with no T at the end, so just RAWSWEE. Based out of Sacramento County, probably the easiest way to say it. And this is my icebreaker for foreign thoughts. So foreign thoughts, the inspiration behind it was me being multilingual, specifically bilingual, because I learned Spanish later, for the most part. I'm still learning. I have different thoughts because of cultural aspects. So there's different types of ideas, and then different ways you process information. You know, you speak to family, they all have different perspectives because of their background, right? And so foreign thoughts, in a way, was meant to be I think it's called a double entendre, where it's foreign thoughts in a different language and thoughts that may not be regular thoughts that you think of, whatever language it is. So a mixture of it. And then the song goes into me thinking about why my mood is a certain way and how I talk to my family about it and what I go do about it, how I meditate about it. Me being first generation Arab American, the dialect of Arabic that I speak is Syrian, and so that's what's coming out the music. Right? That's what I'm putting into the song, that's what you're hearing. And then at the same time, it's a mixture, and so it's I get to see both sides in a way. So it's really nice. It's good music. It's definitely controversial though. Just breaking down the bars, I just having to go back and see about what I've spoken. I think what inspiration it has for anyone, whether they agree or even disagree with my music, is the inspiration that you can assimilate, in a way. Because I was born here, and so both my parents are Middle Eastern. They're both from my life. Has been made a lot easier to assimilate. I see a lot of my friends that have come here when they were 8, 9, 10. And so it's a little bit different sometimes. And then jumping into the Western culture from the Eastern culture is it's like an Arctic shock. So a lot more freedom here. It's an inspiration to be able to speak your truth, something that maybe you have been suppressed about America. My mom always says that. She's like, God bless, because America is so free for you to be able to you're able to exercise who you want to be within moral limits. Certain parts of the Middle East, which may be not necessarily in a bad way, but more uniformed and culture oriented and OG ways. This is how it's done. Almost I want to finish all your words, all your sayings, all your phrases, and don't you dare delete them. La'i tariqat, which means find your path and don't stop walking down it. It would be a shame to stop making music. Once you make it and record it properly, turn it up. And so finish your sayings properly and don't you ever delete them. And that's basically what the hook is saying. So it goes, I tried to relax and talk to my cousin, but I couldn't. And I'm trying to figure out what's up. I need to take a breather and walk. So شمالي لازم اتنفس وامشي. قوي نفسيتي والضحك بوشي. So it goes, strengthen my personality, my character, with a smile on my face. It's regardless of tension, even when sometimes you'll be stressed out or frustrated with so many different things or being overwhelmed, and it's you can't speak to, even when you speak to people, you're sometimes you're all right, it feels it's only temporary, but it's good to be able to appreciate those moments where you have to handle it yourself, a sense of individuality in a way. And so that's kind of I think where I'm going into it, and that's kind of what is foreign to some people maybe, and was maybe foreign to me. When you have a family vibe, how do you take care of yourself when family still needs to take care of themselves? I need to figure out something how to cook myself some food. Food was always there. Delivery of even in speaking in Arabic is kind of a curious, calm about it, but you can tell there's some anxiousness there. There's this I need to figure this out. What's the next thing? I'm prioritizing this frustration or mental struggle of trying to find peace. I'm speaking to my cousin who's been coming to the country kind of recently, because he's been to Turkey and London and from the Middle East and stuff like that to America and whatnot. And so it's what's your perspective? How do you feel? What do you do when you go through this? Because he's been through whatever he's been through. Kind of getting that cultural background from him. Not only my mom, but she's been here longer than he's ever been here. But she's been alive longer than him. So there's an interesting dilemma. He has more of a new age perspective. So there's So I said, I gotta be relaxed with it so that you guys know my name. Cause I do my best as much as I can to practice not being like even when it comes to passion, because sometimes passion could be mistaken as anger, you know, or like chaos. So yeah, so the second verse I say in Arabic, the biggest part of the song that I want to highlight is about getting closer to Jesus. Nothing necessarily fully or as good or as quality without like feeling, you know, overwhelmed or stressed. To the point where people are like, sit down, go to sleep, why are you still up? I think about poetry a lot. Like when I started really falling in love with writing a lot, when like one of our assignments was like, hey, write me a page of a poet, you know, poetry, and it was teaching us about like AB poetry, ABC a few times. I learned the slang from my cousin. I incorporated much in my music because I'm like very picky about incorporating. I don't want to sound like oh, I don't need no one's help, but like when someone gives me an idea, it's hard to take that idea and put it straight in my song. I didn't hear enough of it to truly put it in the Arabic that I like spoke up. It's like common talk is the best, most like respectful way to say it. Anything specific to how the language is actually written, or anything specific to slang they use nowadays. It's a very Arab American. Like, you know, I got my source of Arabic from like a handful of maybe 20 to 30 Arabs, Arabic people of Arabic. Okay. So like regardless of their accents, I can start to see like, oh, that's their slang more, and also like solidifying the Arabic I already knew 100%. I got a lot more of like a homeschooling when it came to our faith, and also me reading the Bible as I started growing up. When I was 18, 19, and 20, I started really getting into my faith more and going more to Bible studies, and that's when the song started really, when the song was born in a way. Foreign Thoughts was when I was like the beginning of when I started going to Bible study and really reading the Bible for myself. I can't remember any specific brand names in the song mentioned. It was more focused on just like mental clarity and just like the path, you know? It's like, I remember, I forgot the quote exactly. I don't know if it's anonymous. I try not to be like, this person said this, because I don't even know how serious it was, but they said, if you're going through hell, why stop in it? Just keep going and get out of it, you know? The metaphorical sense, right? Stick yourself in the bad time, find a way to take a breather and get out of it. And that's kind of like what the verse, the hook was kind of about. Like, find your path, keep walking on it. Sometimes you just find that thing that is therapeutic too, through the moment. Yeah, I'm RAWSWEE. You can find me on all platforms: Spotify, Apple Music, Amazon, IG specifically. That's where I'm most active. It's RAWSWEE. On the RAWSWEE handle for IG, it's just an extra E, so it's RAWSWEE. Because that's just how it worked out. But if you want to, some people even go RAWSWEE. The brand Exotic by RAWSWEE. Well, I appreciate you having me.